Hi everyone, this is Jay Johnson with dailytexture.com. Today I'm introducing a new really fun set for those of you who are ready to get really creative, and the set is called Unpredictable. And I've called it Unpredictable because it's full of unpredictable painted textures which can create unpredictable results and really fun stuff for you. Now, I'm going to take you on a little quick tour of the designs in this package. There are 36 in this package. 36 fun designs, some in bright colors, some in neutral pastel colors, just a wide range. So let's get started. Here's an example image that I've created with one of the textures in this package. And you see what I mean about it's fun, it's interesting, it's artsy. I've designed these specifically because I wanted to put some of my work on some products, and I like the way this looks with the white background. They'll go on most of the products that I put my work on are white to begin with, so this way they can go right in the center of the product and give it a really fun look. Instead of covering the whole product, this will appear in the middle of the product. Here's another example. Let me go back to this one. This one used two textures in the package, and I've changed saturation a little bit and layer modes, and that's the thing. You can stack these on top of each other. You can reduce the saturation. You can change colors. You can do a lot of different things. And here is the very first one I did. But I'm doing these with my wildcats because these wildcats I photograph at the zoo. The zoo is an hour and a half from my home. I go usually once a year. So it's not like I get pictures of these animals all the time. Sometimes the animals aren't active, sometimes they're not out. So I only have a few very good pictures of these animals from the zoo. But just because I have a few pictures and I've done one piece of art with them doesn't mean that I need to stop there. With textures like this, I can create whole new works of art using the same images I've already created as art before. It's not like anybody's going to know the difference, because it looks so different when you use different textures and backgrounds. Okay, now I'm going to go through the 36 just real briefly. I'm just going to hit my next key here to show you what colors and patterns are available. And you can use these. I'm using them with animals and birds, but you can use them with people, people in action. You can use them with flowers if you want to create more energetic works of art. They're full of energy and full of fun pattern and design, all different colors. And like I said, you can change colors. You can desaturate them and put them as layers on top just to give more texture to your subject. You can also, these also work real well with my Ultimate Paper collection, which is plain colored papers. You can place these on top, change the layer mode, and get this pattern with a paper background, which is kind of fun if you want to create a colored background. I'm after a white background with what I'm working on right now, but if you wanted to go with a colored background, that's one way to do it. And look up the Ultimate Paper collection on the website. You'll get a ton of papers in different shades that can work with these. I'm just going through these. We're almost done. And that's a compilation of all of them in the package. Now I'm going to take you through a tutorial to show you how I'm working with these with my animals. So I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, I'm back, and I have brought what I'm going to work with over into Topaz Photo FX Lab. Let me extend this top piece just of the video just a little bit of the video screen. There we go. I'm going to move this down here to the bottom and show you what I've opened up. The very first thing I did was open up this particular texture from the package and I brought it into Photo FX Lab. That's going to be the one I'm going to work with this lion right here. I've already done a male lion. I'd like to do a female lion. So the very first thing I'm going to do with this female lion is I am going to basically take away all the picture. The quickest way to do that is to go to the masking tab and click invert. So now she's inverted. And now I'm going to bring her back right here where I want her to show up. So I'm going to put my masking things all the way to the right. And I'm going to just tap in the middle here and sort of bring her back, find where she's at. There we go. Now I'm going to get rid of the green that is around her edging, because I don't want her original background to show. I just want her to show. I'm not being very specific with the mask at this point because the whole point of these is to have fun and be unpredictable. That's why it's got the name it does. Okay, I've gotten rid of her green background. Now, she's a little dull looking. The texture has very bright color. Don't be afraid of color. You can always get on the texture layer and desaturate it if you would like, or change the color tones. Of course, sometimes when you change the color tones, the background also changes. At this point, I want to keep it white, but if you wanted to adjust it a little bit, you could, if you were not worried about keeping the background white. I do want to work on her a little bit. She looks a little dull. So I'm going to get on her layer, and I'm going to go to Topaz Adjust. And I'm in the HDR collection, and I'm going to click this Dynamic Pop. See how that just brings out her details? This is before, this is after. Brings out her details, brightens her up a little. So I'm going to click OK, because I like the way that looks. Alright, that brightened her up a little. She's still a little cool looking. I'm going to leave the color of her alone right now because I'm going to put the texture layer on top, and it may enable her to pick up some of the colors. But first I'm going to do a little more masking on her. I'm going to bring the opacity down, flow, and I'm basically going to mask away some more of her legs here to bring some of this texture right over her legs and over this side. Maybe over the top of her head a little, back here. Around this ear and the eye. I'm going to go back and you could just play with the mask until you get it like you like it. All right, I like that pretty good. I could, at this point, if I didn't like the way she was positioned, I can move her around like so. I could resize her a little bit like this. You have to watch when you do this. Make sure you don't have any weird edges showing up that you might need to mask away. I kind of like her off to this side over here. Like that. Oops. Okay. Now I'm going to get on the texture layer, duplicate it, move it to the top, and play with some layer modes to see which direction I want to go. And see, these help her pick up the colors. This is what I was talking about. She's kind of cool looking. Once you put this on top, it helps her pick up the colors. And I just will go through until I see one that looks right. Some of them look pretty funky. I like soft light. It's one of my favorites. And I can adjust the opacity of that layer. I really like what it has done down here because it took away this a little bit, which to me was distracting, and it boosted up some of the texture. I don't like the saturation of it, so I'm going to take the saturation level of that layer down to lower saturation so she's not so blown out orange and red. I don't want her too blown out. And if I wanted to, I could take the saturation. Well, apparently I already had the saturation down. Take it down to where I want it. I could have it real bright, or I could have it like grayscale. I just want it to go with her pretty well. Now I have the saturation looking like I want. And at this point, I would click from stack, which merges the layers. And there you go. You're done. You've got your photo, the main part of your photo that you want to feature, blended in with this texture in a very simple and quick way. Now from here, you can even go further. If you wanted to get really creative, duplicate your layer. Let's say go to Topaz Impression if you wanted to, and you could play with some of their presets. You might find something in there that it does that you like. Some of these will darken the background, so you could adjust your settings, play with them. I like this color pencil look. I think that's fun. There was another one I found earlier. Let me go to the painting presets and scan down through here. It was this one, this Degas Dancers 1 and 2. I like them. It automatically has a canvas texture, which you could change if you didn't want that. You could go into the preset and like take the strength of it down or get rid of it completely. But notice how it's got the edging here. If you click on background type solid, like so, it should fix that, but it didn't. So, oh, there's a vignette. Get rid of the vignette, tone down the contrast, but it's still got some external stuff here on the sides, which is coming from probably the opacity of the brush strokes. Yeah, you pull the opacity down, but you can always, like, if you like the way it did here in the center, if you like that, but you didn't like this, you can bring this back and mask this area away. But there's just all kinds of fun things you can do with these presets and create whole new looks. There was I'm in pencil, but there was a watercolor one I really liked under the painting. Let's see here. So if you wanted a watercolor look, see how that took what I've done and just kind of softened it. And of course you can mask back some of this detail. I'm in Topaz Impression 1. I would do the masking back in Photo FX Lab, but Topaz Impression 2 has a masking feature right in the program if you're using that. But I like the different watercolor looks with these. To me, they look pretty fun. I really like this one. So if I was to click OK here, then that's my original. This is the preset I've just ran. And I could mask away some of this layer here. Like if I wanted to bring back some of the detail on her face and her ears a little bit, give a little bit more definition to her. Like so. I could bring back some of that. still has a soft watercolor look. It's real fun. I don't want to do that with this, so I'm going to delete what I've just done. I just wanted to show you what you could do. The one thing I would like to do on this merged layer is run some Topaz Clarity. I just really like the way it sharpens up everything. It sharpens her up. It sharpens up the texture. I really like the way that looks. Brings out more of her details. So I'm going to click OK on that. And if you don't have Topaz, you could, after you've blended your subject with the texture, if you want to get a similar effect to this, you could just run sharpening on it. Do a unsharp mask or just a low sharpen, just to kind of, get the details out a little bit more. So this is what I've created. That was before just blending and merging, and then this is after running Topaz Clarity. I really like the way this looks, so I'm going to call this one done. And I hope you guys will enjoy working with these. It is a fun package that has a lot of possibilities, and I hope you guys will love it. Have a great time with it. And oh, there's one more thing I wanted to show you. Let me turn this off. Bring it back down to the bottom. Okay, let's say that I like this, but I wanted to add some more interest to it. I can bring in another texture from the package. Let's try, let me see here. Let me try this one. It's got some interesting pattern to it. And then I can play with the layer mode. And once again, Soft Light's one of my favorites. Well, that's kind of neat looking too. Let's go with the Soft Light. Now, let me move it around. See how it just creates a different look? So let's say I like that. Notice there's an edge over here because I've moved it. I can mask away that edge and bring back some of the original. I like what it did right here with these little splatters on her face. That's kind of cool. Just make sure you don't have any weird edges showing. I like to go all the way around the edges. Alright, that's before and that's after, and then you can adjust the opacity if you wanted to. You can also desaturate the layer if you just wanted the texture from that layer to appear, like so. So you can mix and match these together. Let's even take another one. Let's see what this one will do. And just create really fun looks that are different and unique to create some fun art. Once again, I like Soft Light. Hard Light's kind of interesting, but it changes my colors up. And I had those exactly where I wanted them. Let's go back to the Soft Light. Alright, that's before, that's after. It just gives it some more texture. Once again, you could desaturate it. You can resize it. So if you wanted more texture to it, I like what it's done right here. It also enhanced her details a little bit more and enhanced the previous texture right here. So I kind of like that too. But you see how you can stack them on top of each other and play around and give different looks. Even if you, you can play with the saturation. Oh, look here. I took the color tone down. Let's put the saturation back where it was. I could sit here and play all day. And I took the color tone of that layer, the soft white layer, down. Now that's where you can adjust color tones and get some really interesting results, is on the layers you put on top. But like if I wanted a cooler look with some blues and reds and purples, I could do that with that layer. So that's before and that's after. So you could just really have a lot of fun with these, get experimental. That's the whole point of them. They're unpredictable. You never know what results you're going to get, other than, when you're masking everything and blending, you know what result you're going to get there. But once you start putting things on top, you just never know what your results are going to be. And that's what makes it fun. And I really like this one. I may have to save this one too. Anyway, I could sit here and play all day. I'm not going to do that. I know you guys have better things to do than listen to me ramble on and watch me play. But I do hope you enjoy the set. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.